First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rakakwadash. Yahweh to this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'Hashem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Kodash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. And in today's video, I wanted to go into how the angels are in the chariots, okay? And the angels are around us 24/7. So I'm going to play this clip here by the bro out there in Kansas, or I believe Kansas City, and just watch. So as you see right there, right, if you know anything about the scriptures, if the Most High has ever showed you the chariots, you understand that those ain't no balloons, right? Those are the vehicles of the angels. Now, where exactly do the scriptures talk about this? We gotta go to Ezekiel, the first chapter, okay? And I'll start at verse 4. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself. And a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance, and they had the likeness of a man." Right, this is talking about, okay, the angels. Now, when you jump down to verse 16, it says, "The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel." Okay, and that wheel, okay, is going into the so-called UFOs, right? The vehicles. If you look at it from a top-down perspective, it looks like a wheel inside of a wheel. Okay, the flying saucer. It says, "When they went upon their 4 sides, and they turned not when they went." Right, so when you look at a human, we're in the 3rd dimension, so, you gotta in order to go forward, you look forward. You can't go in a, crazy angle, upwards. I'm trying to explain this in the best way I can, but what it's saying is that, they're able to do maneuvers, instantaneously. They're able to turn and not even being in that direction. So you could be going a straight, you've seen videos where the chariots are going super fast one direction, and all of a sudden they hit a 90-degree turn, going, faster than a jet. A 90-degree turn. That's that power. It says, "As for their wings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes round about them 4." And you can liken that into, the lights that many times have been seen on these vehicles. It says, "And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went. Thither was their spirit to go. And the wheels were lifted up over against them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels." And that's the point. Is that the spirit of the angels are in these vehicles. They are controlling them. Okay, so when we see the chariots, okay, we see these sightings. You gotta always understand Psalms chapter 34 and verse 7. "The angel of Yahweh encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them." Right, so we got angels around us, constantly, okay, protecting us, having things happen, so we're not in danger. Okay, things that you don't even see. Like a perfect example, I remember watching a video. I think it was in some Latin country, and there's like this, older guy selling like food. He was passing out food, and he was focused on, passing out his food. There's a whole crowd around him, and he was, looking down, with plates, and all of a sudden, nobody saw it, but somebody pulled up and, pulled out a gun, put it to his head, and cocked 3, 4 times, and the gun jammed every single time. And once he realized it jammed, he just ran away. But this happened so fast that nobody really saw it. It happened instantaneously. And the guy that was making, handing out the food, and he didn't even realize that he was at gunpoint. But what happened? The angel of the Lord protected him, right? The angel had it so where that person trying to, off him, it didn't work. And that's an example how, when you're not even looking, the angels are protecting us. I've had plenty, accounts where, I look in the future and I look back at something I did or didn't do, and I'm like, damn, thank the Lord I didn't do that, because, look what happened with that. I couldn't see it at the time, but, I was being protected. So there's another scripture going into the angels and how we have, multiple angels. So, um, let me see if I can find it. Oh no, it's Matthew chapter 18 and verse 10. It says, "Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you, that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven." Right? So, we all got, multiple angels that are protecting us. And that's if, you believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Because if you don't, you wicked. If anything, you got those demons, man. Those demons on you that are making you go off. It's like the angels are helping you not go off, and the demons make you go off even more. Right? So that's why it says that it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. Right? You don't want to play when it comes to the spiritual realm, when it comes to the Lord, because he is the Father of spirits, the creator of spirits. And he could torment you so bad that you wish you weren't even alive. Well, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 10. In verse 1 it says, "Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them." Right? So, don't follow the ways of these other nations. Don't follow their gods, the way they act. Stick to the commandments. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. And this is exactly what we're seeing. This is a sign from the heavens. And when people see, these so-called paranormal activities, these, unidentified flying objects, what happens? They're dismayed. Right? That word means horrified, shocked, concerned, distressed. Right? They start bugging out once they see these vehicles, screaming, are those aliens? But we're not supposed to be in that spirit, because we're supposed to understand that, this is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. These are the angels. And a perfect example going into this is in the Apocrypha. It goes into let me see if I can find it. It's in Maccabees. Right, 2nd Maccabees chapter 5. And verse 1 it says, about the same time Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt, and then it happened that through all the city for the space almost of 40 days there were seen horsemen running in the air, and clothed of gold, and armed with lances like a band of soldiers, and troops of horsemen in array, encountering and running one against another, with shaking of shields, and multitude of pikes, and drawing of swords, and casting of darts, and glittering of golden ornaments, and harness of all sorts. Wherefore every man prayed that apparition might turn to good, right? And this goes to show you that the Most High can have those signs come in all types of fashions, right? In this scenario, he had it where there was a battle in the sky, right? And what were people doing? Praying. Why are they praying? Because they're scared. They're dismayed, as it says. They're shook. So, Yahweh Shai talked about how these things were going to intensify, how there is going to be, signs in the heavens, okay? And this is just the beginning. Just wait when, the Most High starts thinning that veil between this realm and the spiritual realm. And people really start seeing, these spirits for what they are. A lot of people are going to bug out. Scriptures talk about a men's hearts, failing them for fear, if I remember, how it's written correctly. People having heart attacks from what they see. So, just always remember, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai is watching. It says that his eyes are, I think, 100 times or 500 times brighter than the sun, right? Beholding the inward parts. And the angels are protecting us. So the Lord is examining everything. And if you're in the right spirit, man, he got our back. Lord willing, I'm a part of that number. So hopefully this is edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Kakodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom, Tilak, Shalom.